Hey VC, how's everybody doing? Jack here. Welcome to another Vinyl Martini show. I thought I'd show some new records or recent buys. Um, if you not a subscriber, please subscribe. Give me a like, add a comment below. I'm running a contest right now, which I'll talk about at the end of this video here. So let's. I got a lot of records to show. So why don't we just get started? I went to a new record store here in Victoria called Supreme Echo. Really small shop, but very good selection. Really nice guy. Jason is the owner. Really nice guy, very personable guy, nice guy to talk to. And I went through his cheapy bins, and I did come up with some records. I think they were $3 a piece. Or 5 for $10, and I bought 5 and he gave them to me for $8, so even a better deal than that. But first off, Douglas James Kershaw, self-titled record. Doug Kershaw is a Cajun fiddler from Louisiana. He's had a very long career. This is a 1973 release, so Cajun country music. He's had quite a career. I think by the early 60s, him and his brother had sold something like 18 million records. He's not a well-known artist, but he's guested on a lot of country records, well-known fiddler. Again, this is cheapy, and haven't played it yet, but looking forward to giving it a listen. Next, Jerry Lee Lewis. And this is Would You Take Another Chance on Me? And funnily enough, about 4 weeks before he died, we've lost the killer, as everybody knows. I was watching a channel and somebody showed me one of Jerry Lee's country albums, and I made a little note to myself. Next time you're out there in the wild, try to pick up one of his country records. And this is the first one I found, this first one I picked up. Pretty crunched up, but I mean, it was only $1.75. Record's fine, and really good record. Maybe a little more stringish than his previous 2 records. This is on Mercury Records. Billy Sherrill was a really big producer in Nashville at the time, adding strings to all his productions on Charlie Rich and all the artists that he did. So it was big influence on the Nashville sound at the time. But he does a great version of Me and Bobby McGee, another Kristofferson song for the Good Times. The Goodbye, the Years, another great song. Swinging Doors is a Merle Haggard song he does on here. And Jerry Lee, great country singer, maybe one of the best country singers ever. I've got a compilation of Jerry Lee's rock and roll hits, a double album. So I'm not really that interested in finding his rock stuff, but definitely going to be looking for some more of his country albums. Great record. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Street Survivors. I mean, I'm a sucker for Southern rock. I didn't have a copy of this. This is the second release. The first release, the original cover had, there's buildings behind the guys all up in flames, and this original album was released 3 days before the airplane crash that took away 3 of the members of the band. And this is a re-release. They took away the burning buildings, but this has got What's Your Name, That Smell, You Got That Right, Honky Tonk Nighttime Man. Excellent party record. This one will get everybody going. Cover's pretty beat up, but the record inside is just fine. Bought my first Melanie album. Again, it was like $1.75. I really like Melanie. Great vocalist, great singer. This is a live album from Carnegie Hall, and it's got the hit on it, Beautiful People, which is a great song of hers. Again, condition of the record, not that great, but really cheap. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but nice find. Another Strawbs record that I didn't have in my collection. This is Burning for You. What is the year on this? I'm thinking 1977. I've got pretty much every Strawbs record up until this point. The only album that I'm missing that I want to get is Ghosts, which is another fine effort. But this is um, David Cousins, David Lambert, Chaz Kronk, Rod Coombs, John Mealing, and Robert Kirby. Burning for You, Strawbs. Same store, not part of the deal, but picked up another Tom Verlaine record. And this is called Flashlight. It's a 1987 release. I think it was his first release in about 3 years, through maybe 4 years. Tom Verlaine, of course, guitar player, songwriter, singer for television. Marquee Moon, one of everybody's favorite records. His solo career doesn't get the credit that it deserves in the VC, I don't think, but great guitar player, great singer, very steady. I've got about maybe 6 of his solo records. They're all really solid efforts. You can't go wrong, and it's a good day when I find a new Tom Verlaine record. Mott the Hoople, Mott. The final album that Ian Hunter recorded with the band before going on to his solo career. It's on the Columbia label. Some great songs on here. The Golden Age of Rock and Roll, Marionette, Trudy's Song, and great last song on the album is Roll Away the Stone. I just love Mott the Hoople and Ian Hunter. I'm still missing a couple of their Island records. Their first record, which is, the name escapes me right now. I'm missing that. I think their second record, and they're getting harder and harder to find. And when you do find them, they're pretty pricey, but I'll be on the hunt for those in my upcoming crate digs. Mott. Gary Numan's first band, Tubeway Army. This is self-titled first record from them, Tubeway Army. I am just recently, in the last couple of years, gotten into Gary Numan. He was a little bit too electronic for me at the beginning when he first started releasing records in the late 70s, early 80s, but I've really come to appreciate how great he was. This is a British pressing, just with Gary Numan on guitars and keyboards, Jeff Lydiard on drums, and Paul Gardner on bass. Tubeway Army. I've been looking for this artist for a long time. His records are pretty hard to find. This is Emitt Rhodes. This is a 1972 release, I think. I think this might be his second release, but he was renowned for playing all the instruments on his albums. He's, of course, singing, writing all his own songs. Gets a little bit of a knock in the community, in the VC, because he sounds a lot like Paul McCartney. You know, Paul McCartney, when his first solo album, he did played all the instruments on his record. So I think people try to slot him into being a Paul McCartney sound-alike. He does sound a lot like Paul McCartney, but lots of singers tried to sing or sound like Paul McCartney. And this is a fine, fine record. These songs are great. Better Side of Life, Mirror, Birthday Lady. Every song is a little gem, pop gem. He recorded 3 albums on ABC Dunhill. Then he had a contract dispute with them, and I don't think he recorded another record for 20 years. I'm still trying to find his other 2 solo records. I will run across them one day. Sometimes they can be a little pricey, but they're well worth giving him a listen and picking him up. Emitt Rhodes. This is Jack Green, Reverse Logic. I was first turned on to Jack Green through Mr. Shelf Stacker and Hannah, the Omaha Introvert. This is his first release. It's a sort of a power pop record, but to give you some background on Jack Green, he played with T-Rex in 1973 and 74. Then he was in the Pretty Things. He recorded 2 records with them. I think Silk Torpedo on their next record. This is his second album called Reverse Logic. Haven't listened to it yet. I expect more power pop, really polished songs on here. Very good guitar player, good singer. Jack Green. Julian Lennon. This is his second record, and I'm very, very late to the Julian Lennon party. I picked up Velotte, his first record, for $1 somewhere, maybe at a record fair or whatever, and I was really impressed. You know, everybody gets so hung up on him sounding like his father, and he certainly does sound like a young John Lennon. He's got maybe a stronger voice than his dad. He's a good songwriter. Stick Around, I think, was the big hit off of here. It was produced by Phil Ramone. Gorgeous sounding record. Definitely going to be on the lookout for more of his records. He's had a bit of a tough life. I think I saw some interviews with him. He seems to be about the happiest he's been in a long, long time. Anyway, Sean Lennon. A bit of a blind buy for me here. I went to a record fair here in Victoria. It was the first record fair we had in the city itself in 3 years since lockdown. And unfortunately, or fortunately, there was a little radio interview that was publicizing the event. So when I got there, it was a pretty small space anyways. When I got there, it was packed. It was just such not a very enjoyable experience, but I did managed to elbow my way to the bins and find some interesting things. So this is Nina Haggen's, I think this is her second record. It's called Nun, Sex, Monk Rock. Nina Hagen was born in East Germany. She is part of the kind of post-punk new wave movement. I've given this a listen. I wasn't overly impressed, but I'm gonna give it a couple more spins and see what I think about it after that. A little bit beat up, but the price was right. Nina Hagen. Let's see if I can get this cover off here. It's really, really tight. It's a great day when I find a Doug Sahm album. This is the Sir Douglas Band, Texas Tornado. It's a 1973 release on Atlantic Records. Doug Sahm is a Texas musician. He's originally from San Antonio, but he's lived in Northern California. Really weird guy. I think he was on tour in Europe, and he was in Norway, and he met a woman in Norway that he hooked up with, and he ended up living there for 3 years. I know that he was touring again, I think, found himself in Edmonton, Alberta, lived in Edmonton for a few years. He's not around anymore, but how do you describe Sir Doug's music? It's Tex-Mex, it's country, it's rock, it's a little bit of everything. This is, I'm trying to see the credits here. It's not. I don't see who. Oh, the supervisor was Jerry Wexler. So Amit Ergun and Jerry Wexler really believe in this guy. That first album preceding that was called just called the Sir Douglas Band, and he had a number of guest artists on it, including Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was a big fan. This has got Augie Myers on it, his keyboardist, Jack Barber on bass, guys he's played with for a long time. Haven't listened to it yet, but it's a great day when I find a new Doug Sahm album. And one that I've had for a long time, another Doug Sahm record. It's Sir Doug and the Texas Tornadoes, Texas rock for country rollers. If you ever run across this record, man, it burns. It's a killer. I've had this for a long time and made me a believer in Doug Sahm I don't know, 30 years ago. Great record. Sir Doug and the Texas Tornadoes. I've been looking for this woman's work for some time. This is Millie Jackson, 1977, and the title of the record is called Feelin' Bitchy. Man, this girl is raunchy, disco beat, but she is well known for having breaks in the middle of her songs where she does kind of a little talking expose. Very, very potty mouth girl. It's definitely, don't play this when your kids are around, that's for sure. And the big hit on here was called If You're Not Back in Love by Monday. Who wrote that? I'm just... Give me a second here. I can't even find it on the record here. There we go. G. Martin and S. Throckmorton. Anyways, Millie Jackson, fantastic singer. She's still kicking around today, still performing. I think her raunchy vocals really held her back a lot, but she had a number of hits in the mid to late 70s. Millie Jackson, great record. Laura Nyro. This is her live album from 1977. Love Laura Nyro, great singer, songwriter. It's a gatefold. Never seen this around. She does And When I Die on there is a big song for her. Freeport Timer. This was released just after her Spirit record was released. She's just fantastic singer-songwriter, great voice. Very, very underrated, very not very well known in the VC, I don't think, but if you like female singer-songwriters, pick up a Laura Nyro record. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Next up, my first Peter Green record. It's called Colors. I ponied up for this one. This is a 1984 release. I think this is his 6th release. It's consists of materials that he recorded for other records but didn't make it on the other record. Peter Green, of course, was the original guitarist in the original Fleetwood Mac. Great blues guitarist, and just fantastic. I have some of the early Fleetwood Mac records with Peter Green, but I don't have any of his solo records, so I'm really happy to pick this up. It's got What Am I Doing Here, Bad Bad Feeling, Black Woman, Funky Jam, Same Old Blues. Great condition. It's on Stony Plain Records from Edmonton, Alberta. Originally done on Headline Records, I guess released in England on Headline Records, but Stony Plain Records in Canada released this number. Really looking forward to listening to this. And last but not least, another Texan musician. I only have one of his other records. It's Delbert McClinton. Delbert McClinton is a blues, country, rock kind of guy. This one was recorded at Muscle Shoals in Alabama. First thing that grabbed my attention was David Hood is playing bass on there. Roger Hawkins plays drums. The whole Muscle Shoals band or outfit is playing on this. Shotgun Rider, I Can't Quit You, Giving Up for Your Love, Jealous Kind, Going Back to Louisiana. He's just a great guy. He's worked with Etta James. He's worked with Bonnie Raitt. Has had a very long career. Still going strong. Not very well known, but he's released some fantastic records. So that's all I got for you. So I have just, I'm running a contest. It's called my 200 subs contest. I've had about 10 entries and I'm well past the 200 subs. Thanks to the videos that have been released. Some of my great friends in the VC have done some fantastic videos. You can check me out on my number 25 video, but basically I'm asking everybody to show 3 to 5 records of solo records by artists that were released when they were still in a band. So, for example, the first record I showed was a Jerry Garcia record from 1973. The Grateful Dead were on a hiatus. He released a solo record, but the Grateful Dead were obviously still together, still recording. So that's an example of what you could show. Check out the entries for my contest. There's just some people put a lot of thought into it. I'm really grateful to them for doing that for me. Again, the contest runs until December 14th. I'm going to do a little bit of a draw. And there's no prize per se for an entry, but I am going to donate $100 to my local food bank. That's just what I'm going to do. That's what I believe in. So please, if you've never done a video before, one of these contests is a really great entry point into doing starting a channel. If you've already got your own channel and you're just happen to find this video, please, I'd love to see one of your entries. That's about it. That's all I got. I'm going to go out and rake some leaves. I got some ideas for some upcoming shows. I'm going to do a thread. I'm going to maybe feature a band. But thanks for watching. Again, give me a like. Please subscribe. And write down in the comments if you got something to say. So till next time, I'll see you later.